Today, we have yet another segment of the ridiculous things Christians say and what we should say instead, because love is in the air. Or maybe just really bad sermons. It is February, after all. It is the time of year when evangelical and fundamentalist churches feel compelled to talk about Valentine's Day. And honestly, they probably just shouldn't. Let's talk about why. Hey everyone, I'm Colin, the resident nerd, Bible scholar, and therapist here at the Bible Uncut and Unfiltered. We have a few different categories that we can put Valentine's Day sermons into. First, there is the God as the ultimate lover approach, talking about divine sacrifice with romantic metaphors that can get a little uncomfortably weird when applied to deity. Then you've got youth pastor energy sermons. You know, the ones who try to sound cool and understanding, reminding single women that Jesus is your boyfriend and the right one will come around if you just wait on God's timing. And finally, there are, of course, the ones who get red in the face and spew purity culture messages at young people who checked out of that conversation a decade ago. Here's what all of these approaches have in common. They're tone deaf. Listen, if you have any part in leading a church or speaking to people on Valentine's Day or around that time, just know that Valentine's Day is a very, very tender day for a lot of people, and you need to think carefully before you speak into it. Think about the single person who has been struggling on dating apps, swiping through hundreds of profiles, going on awkward first dates that go nowhere, wondering if something is fundamentally wrong with them as a person. Now, imagine them sitting in your pew while you, someone who maybe has been happily married for over a decade, tells them to just keep trying and trust God's timing. You don't know what that feels like. Your advice to them comes across as worthless. Or think about the person who just lost their spouse this past year. This is maybe their first Valentine's Day alone. They're barely holding it together, and you're up here talking about how beautiful married love is, or worse, how God's love is enough. And that's not to say that those things are in and of themselves untrue. It's just thinking about how they come across. There is a time, a place, and a way that you can express truth that isn't going to be as offensive to as many people. I mean, think about the married couple who gets along fine, but maybe just doesn't like the saccharine commercial holidays anyway. They don't need you validating or condemning their choice to ignore Valentine's Day. What about the divorced person just trying to heal? The person who left an abusive relationship, the widow, the person who's been single for 20 years and has made peace with it until you remind them that they're supposed to feel incomplete without a partner. Our faith as Christians is to prioritize the hurting and the overlooked in our communities. But so often, pastors preach sermons as if everyone in the pew is exactly like them. They forget about the singles, the grieving, the divorced, the ones who don't quite fit into the cultural mold, who feel the worst when you take the precious time they gave to come to church and use it to pontificate about the one topic that they could not want to hear less about. You think you're being relevant. You think you're speaking into culture. But what you're actually doing is making hurting people feel more invisible, more abnormal, and pitied at best. And here's the thing, even the Jesus is your boyfriend kind of attempts at encouragement, they're not comforting. They're condescending. It spiritualizes away real human loneliness with a metaphor that doesn't actually meet people's real human needs for companionship, physical touch, and partnership. So, pastors, Sunday school teachers, anyone who has any part in talking to anyone in this time of year, be sensitive, and maybe skip the Valentine's platitudes this year. If you as a church want to make a passing mention of Happy Valentine's Day to those who celebrate, fine, but maybe add, and to those who aren't celebrating for whatever reason, we wish you the best of days and all our love. Something like that. That's it. That's all you need. Because love is complicated. Love is two-sided. It's painful sometimes. Not everyone responds to it the same way. And a pastor's job as a community leader is to keep at the center of their mind the ways that seemingly good things can cause unintentional and undue harm to hurting people. You don't need a sermon series on Valentine's Day. You don't need to validate the holiday or redeem or spiritualize it. Just briefly acknowledge it and move on. Because here's what churches get wrong about Valentine's Day. They treat it like neutral territory, just a fun cultural moment to engage with. but for huge parts of your congregation is a reminder of loss, of loneliness, of rejection, of disappointment. It's the woman who has been told her whole life that marriage is God's will for her, and she's 45 and still single and starting to believe God doesn't care about her. It's the man whose wife died, and every commercial, every pink decoration, every couple holding hands feels like a knife to his chest. It's the teenager who's been told to save themselves from marriage while watching everyone else pair off, wondering what they're doing wrong. These people don't need your sermons. They need your sensitivity. They need to know that the church is a place where they are seen and valued regardless of their relationship status. Here's what we should say instead. We see you. Whether you're celebrating today or struggling through it, you are loved and valued here. You are whole, complete, and worthy just as you are. And then talk about literally anything else. Because the gospel isn't about romance. It's about a love that includes everyone, the married, the single, the widowed, the divorced, the heartbroken. Don't reduce this day to Hallmark sentimentality. Alright, thanks everyone for watching and getting through my rant today. If this resonated with you, hit subscribe and follow. And to everyone watching, remember, you are enough, you are loved, with or without a Valentine. God bless.